is Oscar. If you've made it this far, this means you are at the final demo, part 4. In this demo, we are discussing and focusing in on what happens at the SME level, meaning the areas that I play, my playground. So as a consultant for you, as a person who's implementing this solution for your organization, again, as I said, I think in like maybe demo 2, I am your single throat to choke, right? So I will be the person that does the implementation, sets your environments up, ensures that the automations are working, and also sticks around to work with your operations, your floor managers, your admins, your consultants, etc. So this video is a little bit more lengthy, but I wanted to spend some time really showing you what all it takes to set up the actual environments, and what all does it take to make sure that when we send the bot out, it's actually working and processing in the right manner consistently. So let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. 1 second. Okay. And again, I'll only jump in if there's something that's necessary to talk about, but let's go ahead and dive right on in. All right.
Let us see how you can set up the document ontology with the various fields that you need to capture and the rules that you would set according to those fields. In the menu, you will find Define Documents. It is used by subject matter experts, or SMEs, who understand the documents that are going to be processed. They can set up the ontology or the document definition based on the fields you want to interact with. The ontology section is the key section that we will look at. Before that, we will see category, in which you can categorize the documents. For example, finance, invoice, and test. You have also got type, which is linked to the category. Here, we are looking at an invoice type that is linked to finance category. You have also got subtype that is linked to the type. We can specify category, type, and subtype for a document. For example,
right here, it's very important to note, based upon our first discussions, that we had kind of identified what type of business you're in, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in complementary and alternative medicine centers, whether it's urgent cares, whether it's logistics, trucking, it does not matter. What we do essentially is we're going to set up the category, the type, and the subtype for you. So what that will do is it will ensure that we are looking at this with the right lens, right? So you may have various types of subcategories, right? So let's say, for example, if your organization is healthcare, but then you may also have like new patient forms. You may have invoice forms. You may have insurance claim forms, etc. And what we would do is we would set those up in the subtype level. So that way, as we're processing things and you want to see like on your dashboard to kind of understand kind of where things stand, you'll be able to see that quickly and effectively without having to kind of muddle through and figure out which one is which.
Example, here we have categorized document into finance category, type as invoice, and subtype as demo_invoices_DGSL. Ontology, or the document definition describing how the fields are going to be captured, is done at a subtype level. The screen shows 2 sections. On the right, you can upload a sample image. It gives the SME view of the document. Thus, it becomes easier for the SME to set up the number of fields that you want to capture and the rules that you want to set. As an example, we will see the invoice number field in the header. The layout is defined as header, details, and footer. The fields in the header typically come in the document only once. In the details section, you can define your line items. In case of invoices, you will have multiple line items. Now, let us look at the invoice number field as an example. Setting up a field involves 3 different sections. On the left side, you can define the field name, field type, and description. The field type shows the various options available so that predefined validations rules can be set to your field without doing it manually. It gives various options, such as email, GST, HST, IFSC code, invoice amount, net amount, etc.
So right here in this drop down for field type, we can adjust all of this based upon what type of industry you're in and based upon what those needs are. So I always want to make sure that that's very clear to all of our users. This one, the way in which we did this particular robot demo is really based upon a very specific industry, right? Where it may be invoice heavy. But in your particular industry, we will be able to tailor this and adjust it based upon what you actually need.
So that specific validations for them are auto-applied. On the right side, you can see the Properties window. If you want that particular field to appear in manual handling such that the operator specifically goes and has a look, the operator eyeballs it, then you turn the manual handling on. The mandatory option ensures, for example, in case of the invoice number will always be the mandatory field, hence you can turn it on. Lastly, the anchor option allows you to choose an anchor value in the document, which takes care of any offsets in the document. For example, if there is an offset in the scanning of the document, it takes care of it. The minimum length and maximum length of the field restricts you to a particular number of characters so that you don't have false positives. The confidence level is defined on a scale of 1 to 10. Here it is defined between 8 to 6. Reject confidence is 6. Confidence is 8. Here any confidence above 9 will go straight through. Confidence below 6 is outrightly rejected. This eliminates a lot of false positives. Anything between 8 to 6 is classified as suspect. Here the application tells you that it is not sure about the captured data, and the user should look at it. The confidence levels ensure that the key fields can be just eyeballed. TrueCap Plus has a lot of other properties, such as header field, derive field, which is derived based on other defined fields, remove space, uppercase, etc.
And before we continue to go on, this again is more like on the back end SME level. This is part of what I'd be setting up for you. But again, this helps you to just kind of see what that workload looks like in the very beginning. We would spend a lot of time discussing your confidence levels and what you would consider to be a reject level and what that really means for your throughput, right? For how many documents will be processed and how much manual interaction will be needed, right? Whenever we don't have something that falls below a certain threshold of confidence ratings. So that's one aspect. The other side of this, and the beauty of this is you're just kind of seeing what happens in the background. I would be setting all of this stuff up for your organization. So all you really would have to do is have one or two conversations with me. We set it up, we set the demo up, we show it to you. We ensure that we work on it, we work with you on it for about 2 weeks, no charge. And then once you have said green light, that's when we then will start to do the handoff process to make sure that your team is ready. If there's any training that's involved, we will help them with that part as well.
Synonyms talk about where you are going to find your value from. TrueCap Plus is a template-free application, so you do not have to define a template or your document type. These particular synonyms tell the tool where you can exactly find the invoice number. You can have various synonyms or various labels based on your document. You can define all of them together without having to define a template every time a new document type comes in.
Here's why this is very critical. And this aspect actually begins to speak to our natural language processing component that we have already ingested into our solution. So as you get new documents in, maybe sometimes let's say one of your customers may move, like let's say one of your anchor numbers or something from the left side of the page to the right side, and our solution actually will look on the document by way of the bot, and it will identify where it's actually moved to, and it will still pick up the actual information. This is especially critical whenever you're looking at handwritten documents. Let's say if you're a healthcare facility and you've got someone coming in filling out forms, well, it's going to be critical because in some cases someone may have mistakenly, put a phone number where the email is supposed to be, or they put an address where the phone number is supposed to be. And what this will do is ensure that we still are reading it correctly, putting things into the right locations.
Validation section has more than 75 to 80 inbuilt generic validations. All these functions allow you to ensure that the value that is picked meets a certain criteria. For example, the check length validation here tells that the invoice number will always have minimum length of 1 character and a maximum length of 30 characters. If it does not fit this predefined criteria, the action is discarded. Similarly, check occurrence of validation here tells that invoice number should have at least one number field, so minimum occurrence count has to be 1 with the data type being number. So it looks for those values that has at least one numeric value, thus eliminating a lot of text from it. Custom validations allow to build customized validations over and above the inbuilt validations. They show you the different fields available in the document, the various functions that you can use, and the expressions that you have already built. With the help of the operators, you can build a custom function for specific scenarios, in case existing validations are not available. Regular expression shows the various regular sequences. It looks for a pattern in the invoice, and fixes up only those fields. For example, email. It will look for a pattern of the email address and pick that up for you. Extraction sequence forms a key criteria along with the synonyms. Here, the template-free approach of TrueCap+ comes in. You can give general extraction sequences without having to bind them to a particular area in the document. For example, the search in the page zone extraction sequence. It limits your search to the top 50% of your document. That is where typically invoice numbers exist. Here, the top edge and left edge is defined. The horizontal distance is defined at 100%. It means the tool will span left to right completely.
Here's why this is so critical. I absolutely love this aspect of our actual solution. So if you are in an organization where you've got tons of different forms, but they're kind of the same, right? Let's say, for example, if you're a healthcare provider and you have a patient, a new patient form, it's going to look the same pretty much every time, right? So what we would do to help speed up the robot is we would build it to where it knows where to look on the page immediately. So immediately once a new form has come in or gets scanned in or emailed in or submitted via Google Docs, etc., or Google Forms, what will happen here is we will immediately know where to look. The robot will pull out that information immediately and begin to process it. So that way they're not looking at the entire document every single time, looking for the exact same information. Right. And that will be agnostic across the board. So it won't matter if it's, 5 people or 5,000 people. The robot will do the same exact thing every single time. And as I mentioned earlier, should there be any errors in the document or someone may have done a form misprint, perhaps they mistakenly put their email address where the telephone number should have been, we've already built in parameters to where it will reject that and it will notify you as either like the operations manager or the consultant or the data entry specialist. You will be able to see exactly where that error is. Once you've identified it, it will show it to you. Well, our system will show it to you, and then you either go in there and quickly correct that.
But it will stop at 50% when going from top to bottom. This allows you to narrow down upon the values. Get Single Word allows you to select the direction where you are going to get the values from. Just like validations, you've got a host of them here, from which you can choose any one. Region of interest assists over and above the template-free approach. It allows you to mark regions as required and set up your document accordingly. This is how you set up the ontology or the topology of your document. Just like the header, you can set up the table field values as well. For example, in this case, we have set up item code, item category, description, quantity, etc., similar to the header field values. This elaborates the ontology section that is used by SMEs.
I always love how my robot says SMEs, SMEs. So nonetheless, hopefully that this was helpful for you. Again, this is more of the area that I would be playing in, where I'd be the person setting up your environments, setting up the actual ontology, setting up exactly how your robots are going to interact and the frequency in which they will act, right? And then after that, our job after that is to be, once this is already set up and everything is automated, what I really like to do is to remain in communication with you to ensure if we need to do tweaks, if there's other forms, if there's other documentation. Now, the natural next step to this is going to be on data mining, business intelligence, and data management, right? So now that we've got your entry point, meaning like how data is entered into your systems. So now you've got an improved electronic health record system. You've got an improved enterprise resource planning system. And now we got to start learning how to interpret the data. And that's where the AI component or the artificial intelligence piece comes in. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I'm really, really excited, if you can't already tell, about these kind of service offerings. What I'd like to be able to do is offer you an opportunity for us to sit down and talk specific one-on-one. What you can do is go right out to our website, rpa.ndemandconsulting.com, and just simply click on the book a demo. What that's going to do is it comes directly to me. You will see my exact calendar. You see when I'm available. And what you would do is look at what's convenient for you, right? It's a standard Calendly sort of calendar setup. And as soon as you get it set up, we'll be on a Zoom in no time. And then we can start talking about your specific needs. Again, thank you so much. I'm super excited to be talking to you all. Cannot wait to get you started. Thank you.